try to breathe without making sound. The tears are coming anyway, hot and stupid, sliding down my cheeks while my throat closes around everything I've been swallowing for weeks, months. I don't even know anymore. The mop bucket sits beside me, reeking of cheap disinfectant, and my knees ache from scrubbing the marble floors on the 42nd level. It's 3 in the morning. The building is empty. No one can see me fall apart in this elevator, and that's the only mercy I've had in so long. I can't remember what mercy felt like before this moment. I think I'm alone. I think I'm safe to break. Then I hear him breathe. Not loud, just a shift in the air behind me, a presence I didn't notice until now, and my entire body goes rigid. I spin around, my back hitting the wall, and my heart stops because there's a man standing in the corner of the elevator, watching me. I don't know how long he's been there. I don't know if he got in on the 40th floor, or if he was already here when I stepped inside, too exhausted to notice anything except my own misery. He's tall, dark suit, darker eyes. His hands are in his pockets, his posture relaxed, but there's something about the way he looks at me that makes my skin prickle with awareness. He doesn't move, doesn't speak, just stands there while I try to wipe my face with the back of my hand, try to pull myself together, try to remember how to breathe like a person who isn't completely shattered. I'm sorry, I say, because that's what I always say. I didn't realize anyone was. I'm sorry. He still doesn't speak. The elevator hums around us, climbing slowly toward the executive floors, and I want to disappear. I want to sink into the floor and cease to exist, because this man, whoever he is, just watched me cry like a child in the corner of an elevator with a mop bucket at my feet. I look like exactly what I am: desperate, pathetic, invisible until the moment I wanted to be. You work here, he says finally. His voice is low, controlled, the kind of voice that doesn't need to be loud to fill a space. I nod. Night cleaning crew. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to use this elevator, You're supposed to use the service elevator. My stomach drops. I know. I'm sorry. It was broken tonight and I thought, I'm not reprimanding you. I blink. My hands are shaking. I clasp them together, trying to steady myself, trying to figure out what he wants from me. Men like him, men in suits that cost more than I make in 6 months, don't ride elevators at 3 in the morning unless something is very wrong or very right in their lives. I don't know which one he is. I don't know if I want to. What's your name? He asks. I hesitate. Giving my name feels dangerous, but refusing feels worse. Marin. He nods once, like he's filing that information away somewhere I can't see. Marin, he repeats, and the way he says it makes something in my chest twist. How long have you been crying? The question catches me off guard. Not why are you crying? Not are you okay? Just how long? Like he's been observing me longer than I realized. Like he knows more than I want him to. I'm not, I say automatically. His expression doesn't change. You are. I look away. The elevator doors open on the 48th floor, but neither of us moves. After a moment, he reaches out and presses a button that closes the doors again. We start climbing. Where are we going? I ask, my voice smaller than I want it to be. The top. I don't ask why. I don't think I want to know. I just stand there, gripping the handle of the mop bucket like it's the only thing keeping me tethered to reality, and wait for whatever comes next. When the elevator stops on the 55th floor, he steps out into a hallway I've never seen before. Everything here is different. Darker wood, softer lighting, the kind of space that doesn't exist for people like me. He looks back at me, waiting. I need to finish my shift, I say. No, you don't. I'll get fired. You won't. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand why this man is looking at me like I'm something worth paying attention to. Why he's holding the elevator door open with one hand while the other stays relaxed in his pocket. I should leave. I should take the elevator back down to the 40th floor and finish scrubbing toilets and pretend this never happened. But I don't. I step out into the hallway, leaving the mop bucket behind, and follow him. Architected narrative foundation and outlined organic character revelation strategy. Good start. I've opened with the elevator scene, established the emotional vulnerability, introduced both characters without names that are too common, Marin and Dante, though I haven't revealed his name yet, and created immediate tension. The opening paragraph puts us right in her body and emotions as required. Now I need to continue building this slowly over the next 18,000 plus words. I need to reveal who he is, gradually show her situation through behavior, not exposition. Build the tension slowly, keep the first person intimate and emotional. Maintain the dark romance tone, create emotional hooks throughout. No chapter breaks. Let me continue with their interaction on the executive floor, revealing more about both characters organically. His office is at the end of the hall, behind double doors that open into a space so vast I feel smaller just standing in it. Floor to ceiling windows overlook the city, a sprawl of lights that looks nothing like the world I live in down on the streets. Everything here is clean lines and expensive silence, a desk that could seat 6 people, leather chairs, art on the walls that probably costs more than I'll make in my lifetime. He walks to a bar cart near the windows and pours something amber into a crystal glass. He doesn't ask if I want anything, just pours a second glass and sets it on the edge of his desk, then gestures for me to sit in one of the chairs across from him. I don't sit. I stand there in my stained work shirt and cheap sneakers, feeling the weight of everything wrong about this moment pressing down on me. I should go, I say. Why? Because I don't belong here. Where do you belong? The question feels like a trap. I don't have an answer that won't make me sound more pathetic than I already do, so I just shake my head and take a step back toward the door. Sit down, Marin. It's not a request. Not quite a command either. Something in between that makes my body respond before my mind catches up. I sink into the chair, my hands folded in my lap, and stare at the glass of amber liquid he's placed in front of me like it might bite. He sits on the edge of his desk, one leg braced against the floor, and studies me with the same intensity he had in the elevator. Up close, I can see more details. The sharp line of his jaw, the silver at his temples, the scar that cuts through his left eyebrow, faint but visible. He's older than me by at least a decade, maybe more, and he wears it like armor. How long have you worked here? He asks. 3 months. And before that? Different buildings? Different jobs? Always cleaning? I nod. Why? I almost laugh, but it comes out bitter. Because it's what I can get. He doesn't react to that. Just takes a sip of his drink and keeps watching me like I'm a puzzle he's trying to solve. It makes me feel exposed in a way that has nothing to do with my tears in the elevator. Like he can see through every wall I've built, every lie I've told myself to keep going. You're educated, he says. It's not a question. I went to college, didn't finish. Why not? Money. Family? My throat tightens. No. He tilts his head slightly, considering. Boyfriend? No. Husband? God, no. For the first time, something that might be amusement flickers across his face, but it's gone before I can be sure. Then what? What do you mean? What are you running from? The question hits me like a physical blow. I stand up so fast the chair scrapes against the floor, and I take 2 steps back before I remember I'm supposed to be invisible. People like me don't run from people like him. We apologize and disappear and hope they forget we existed. I'm not running, I say, but my voice shakes. You're terrified. I'm tired. Of what? Everything. The word sits in my throat, too big to swallow, too true to say out loud. I'm tired of being broke. Tired of working 3 jobs and still not making rent. Tired of sleeping on my friend's couch because I got evicted 2 months ago. Tired of pretending I'm fine when I'm so far from fine I can't remember what it felt like. I'm tired of being invisible until I cry, but I don't say any of that. I just stand there, shaking, while this stranger watches me fall apart in his office at 3 in the morning. Sit down, he says again, and this time it's gentler. I don't. He sighs, sets his glass down, and stands. When he moves toward me, every instinct I have screams at me to run, but my body won't cooperate. I'm frozen, caught between fear and something else I don't have a name for. He stops a few feet away, giving me space I didn't ask for but desperately need. I'm not going to hurt you, he says quietly. I don't know you. No, you don't. Then why am I here? Because I asked you to be. That's not an answer. His mouth curves, just slightly. No, it's not. We stand there in silence, the city glittering behind him, and I realize I'm still crying. Not the broken sobs from the elevator, just quiet tears that won't stop no matter how hard I try to will them away. He notices. Ust reaches into his pocket and offers me a handkerchief. Actual fabric, not tissues. The kind of thing I didn't know people still carried. I take it because refusing feels more complicated than accepting. Thank you, I whisper. He nods and returns to his desk, giving me room to breathe, to think, to decide what happens next. It's a kindness I didn't expect, and it makes everything worse because kindness is what breaks me these days. I can handle cruelty. I can handle indifference. I can't handle someone looking at me like I matter. What's your full name? I ask, needing to know who's seeing me like this. Dante Voss. The name means nothing to me, but the way he says it suggests it should. I file it away and wipe my face with his handkerchief, trying to pull myself together enough to leave with some dignity intact. I should go, I say again. Where? Home. Where's home? I don't answer. Can't answer. Because home is a couch in a studio apartment that belongs to someone else. And if I'm being honest, I'm not even sure how much longer that's going to last. My friend Kira has been patient, but everyone has limits, and I've been testing hers for 8 weeks now. You don't have one, Dante says, and it's not a question. I have a place to stay. That's not what I asked. My hands clench around the handkerchief. Why do you care? I'm not sure yet. The honesty of that answer surprises me. Most people would lie, would pretend they're just being nice, just concerned. He doesn't bother. He's trying to figure out why he cares, and he's telling me that directly, and I don't know what to do with that level of truth. I need to go, I say, and this time I mean it. He doesn't stop me, just watches as I cross the office and reach for the door handle. My hand is shaking so badly I almost can't turn it. Marin, I freeze. Tomorrow night. Same time. Come back here. Why? Because I'm asking you to. That's not a reason. It's the only one I have right now. I should say no. I should walk out of this office and never come back. Find a different building to clean, a different elevator to cry in. But something in his voice, in the way he's looking at me like I'm not invisible, makes me nod before I can stop myself. Okay, I whisper. And then I leave before I can change my mind. The elevator ride down feels longer than it should. I slump against the wall, still clutching Dante Voss's handkerchief, and try to understand what just happened. A man I don't know saw me at my lowest, and instead of looking away, he looked closer, asked questions, offered me a drink I didn't take, asked me to come back. I should be afraid. I am afraid. But I'm also something else, something that feels dangerously close to hope. When I get back to the 40th floor, my supervisor Maria is waiting by the service elevator with her arms crossed. She's a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, but she has the kind of presence that makes everyone nervous. I brace myself for the lecture about using the wrong elevator, about disappearing for 20 minutes, about crying on company time. Where were you? She asks. The main elevator got stuck. I'm sorry. She narrows her eyes, clearly not believing me, but she doesn't push. Finish the executive bathrooms and you can go. I nod and grab my cart, trying to ignore the way my hands are still shaking. The rest of the shift passes in a blur. I scrub and mop and empty trash bins on autopilot, my mind circling back to Dante's office, to the way he watched me, to the invitation I accepted without understanding why. By the time I clock out at 6 in the morning, my body is screaming with exhaustion, but I can't sleep. I take the subway back to Kira's apartment in Queens, the early morning commuters pressing in around me, everyone half asleep and irritable. I keep my head down, my earbuds in, even though I'm not playing music, and try to become invisible again. It's easier in daylight. Kira is getting ready for work when I let myself in, her suit perfectly pressed, her makeup flawless. She works in marketing for some tech company I can never remember the name of, and she's good at it. Good enough to afford this studio in a decent neighborhood. Good enough to let me crash on her couch without asking for rent I can't pay. Rough night? She asks, glancing at me in the mirror as she applies lipstick. Same as always. You look worse than always. I drop my bag by the couch and sink into the cushions, too tired to argue. I'm fine. Marin. I'm fine, Kira. She sighs, caps her lipstick, and turns to face me. You can't keep doing this. Working yourself to death for what? $300 a week? 350. Oh, well, in that case. Her voice drips with sarcasm. You know I don't mind you staying here, but you need a real plan, a real job. Something that doesn't have you coming home looking like you've been through a war. I'm trying. Try harder. She doesn't mean it cruelly. Kira has been my best friend since freshman year of college, back when we both thought we were going to change the world. She did. I didn't. And now she's letting me sleep on her couch because that's what friends do, but I can hear the strain in her voice. The patience wearing thin. I will, I say quietly. She softens a little, crosses the small space, and squeezes my shoulder. Get some sleep. We'll figure it out. But we won't. I know that. She knows that. We're just pretending because the truth is too hard to say out loud. After she leaves, I lie on the couch and stare at the ceiling, Dante's handkerchief still clutched in my hand. The fabric is expensive, soft, monogrammed with initials I didn't notice before. DV. I should wash it and give it back. But I don't want to. I want to keep it as proof that last night actually happened, that someone saw me and didn't look away. I close my eyes and try to sleep, but all I can see is him standing in that elevator, watching me cry, asking me questions I don't know how to answer. I don't sleep. I spend the day job hunting online, sending out resumes that will never get responses, filling out applications for positions I'm not qualified for. By the time evening comes, I'm wired with anxiety and caffeine, my stomach a knot of nerves I can't untangle. I don't have to go back to his office tonight. I could skip my shift entirely, disappear, find work somewhere else. But I don't. I put on my cleanest work shirt, pull my hair into a ponytail, and take the subway back into Manhattan. The building looms over me as I approach, all glass and steel and money, and I feel the same smallness I always feel walking through the revolving doors. Maria barely glances at me when I clock in. 43rd through 49th tonight. Main elevators fixed. Okay. I grab my cart and head up, my heart pounding harder with each floor. I tell myself I'm not going to the 55th floor. I'm going to do my job and go home and forget Dante Voss exists. But at midnight, I find myself standing outside the service elevator, staring at the buttons, my finger hovering over the number 55. I press it. The ride up feels eternal. My reflection in the metal doors shows a girl who looks scared and hopeful in equal measure, and I hate her for it. I hate that I'm doing this. I hate that I want to do this. I hate that some part of me needs to know if last night was real or just a moment of weakness we'll both pretend never happened. The doors open. The hallway is empty. I step out and walk to his office, my footsteps too loud on the polished floor. The double doors are closed. I raise my hand to knock, then hesitate, wondering if I've made a mistake. If he was just being polite last night, if he didn't actually expect me to come back. The door opens before I can knock. Dante stands there, still in a suit but without the jacket, his shirt sleeves rolled to his elbows. He looks at me with the same intensity as before, and something in my chest relaxes because I was right. Last night was real. He expected me. He wanted me here. Come in, he says. I do. This time, I sit in the chair without being asked. He pours 2 glasses of the same amber liquid from last night and sets one in front of me. This time, I pick it up. The whiskey burn's going down, but it's a good burn. A warm burn that settles some of the anxiety rattling around in my chest. Thank you, I say. For what? The handkerchief. I washed it. I pull it from my pocket, fold it neatly, and set it on his desk. He glances at it but doesn't pick it up. Keep it. I can't. Why not? Because it's yours. And I'm giving it to you. I don't know what to say to that. Don't know how to accept something so simple when it feels like so much more. So I just nod and tuck it back into my pocket, my fingers brushing against the soft fabric like it's something precious. We sit in silence for a moment, sipping our drinks, and I realize this is the first time in months I've felt calm. Not happy, not okay, just calm, like I can breathe without it hurting. Tell me about yourself, Dante says eventually. There's nothing to tell. I don't believe that. Why not? Because everyone has a story. I laugh, but it sounds hollow. Mine's not very interesting. Let me decide that. I take another sip of whiskey, gathering my thoughts, trying to figure out where to start. I'm 26. I grew up in Pennsylvania. Small town, the kind where everyone knows everyone and nothing ever changes. I came to New York for college, wanted to study literature, maybe teach. I made it 2 years before my mom got sick, and I had to drop out to help with bills. Is she still alive? No. She died 3 years ago. I'm sorry. I shrug, like it doesn't still hurt. Like I don't still wake up sometimes, forgetting she's gone. After she died, I tried to go back to school, but I'd lost my financial aid and couldn't afford it. So I started working. Waitressing, retail, whatever I could find. Moved in with my boyfriend at the time because it was cheaper than living alone. The boyfriend who doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that one. I don't elaborate. Don't tell him about the fights, the control, the way Marcus made me feel like I was nothing without him. Don't tell him about the bruise on my ribs that took weeks to fade after I finally left. Some stories aren't meant to be shared over whiskey with strangers. And now you clean offices, Dante says. And now I clean offices. Why? Because I need money and nobody's hiring former college dropouts with gaps in their work history for anything better. There's always something better. Not for people like me. He sets his glass down and leans forward, his elbows on his knees, his eyes locked on mine. What does that mean? People like you? People who've made mistakes. People who don't have degrees or connections or family money. People who are just trying to survive. You're intelligent. That doesn't matter. It does to me. The way he says it makes my breath catch. Like he means it. Like intelligence is currency in his world, and I have more value than I've given myself credit for. It's intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. Why did you ask me to come back tonight? I ask, needing to understand. Because I wanted to see you again. Why? He's quiet for a long moment, studying me like he's trying to figure out the answer himself. Because when I saw you in that elevator, I saw someone breaking, and I wanted to know why. I'm not breaking. Yes, you are. I want to argue, but I can't. Because he's right. I am breaking. Have been breaking for so long I've forgotten what it feels like to be whole. And he saw it. Saw through every wall, every lie, every desperate attempt to hold myself together. What do you want from me? I whisper. I don't know yet. That's not comforting. It's honest. I finish my drink and set the glass down, my hands steadier than they were yesterday. Who are you? Dante Voss? Really? What do you want to know? Everything. He smiles, and it's the first real smile I've seen from him. It transforms his face, makes him look younger, less dangerous, but only slightly. That's a long story. I have time. No, you don't. You have a shift to finish. I can skip it. You shouldn't. Why do you care if I finish my shift? Because you need the money. The bluntness of it stings. But he's right. I do need the money. Every dollar matters when you're sleeping on someone else's couch and trying to save enough for a security deposit on your own place. I stand reluctantly, hating that the night has to end, hating that I have to go back to being invisible. Will you be here tomorrow? I ask. Do you want me to be? Yes. He stands as well, moving around his desk to walk me to the door. Then I will be. We pause at the threshold, close enough that I can smell his cologne, expensive and subtle. Close enough that I can see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. Close enough to feel the heat radiating from his body. Marin, he says quietly. Yes? Whatever you're running from, whatever you're afraid of, you can tell me. Why would I do that? Because I think you need to tell someone. He's right. I do need to tell someone. I've been carrying everything alone for so long it's crushing me. But trusting people hasn't worked out well for me in the past, and trusting a man I barely know feels like stepping off a cliff. Maybe, I say finally. That's a start. I leave his office and go back to work. But everything feels different now. The floors I mop, the toilets I scrub, the trash I empty. It all feels temporary. Like I'm doing it while I wait for something else. Something better. Something I don't have a name for yet. The next night, I go back. And the night after that. And the night after that. It becomes a routine. I work my shift, and at midnight, I take the elevator to the 55th floor. Sometimes we talk. Sometimes we sit in silence, drinking whiskey and watching the city through his windows. He asks me questions, and slowly, carefully, I answer them. I tell him about growing up poor, about my mother's cancer, about the student loans I'll be paying off for the rest of my life. I tell him about Marcus and the way he made me feel small. I tell him about Kira's couch and the eviction notice and the constant fear that I'm one bad day away from complete disaster. And he listens. Really listens. Not like he's waiting for his turn to talk, but like every word I say matters to him. I start to learn things about him too, though he's more careful with his information. He owns this building and several others. He runs a business that he doesn't describe in detail, but I get the sense it's not entirely legal. He's from Chicago originally. He has no family left. He's lived in New York for 15 years. He's powerful in ways I don't fully understand. And he's lonely in ways I recognize all too well. 3 weeks into our midnight meetings, he asks me a question that changes everything. How much do you owe? I'm curled up in one of his leather chairs, my shoes off, my second glass of whiskey warming my hands. What? How much do you owe? Student loans, back rent, whatever debts you're carrying. I don't want to answer. The number is shameful, proof of every bad decision I've made, every opportunity I've missed. But he's looking at me with those dark eyes, and I can't lie to him. 43,000, I say quietly, give or take. He doesn't react, doesn't flinch or judge or tell me I should have been smarter with money. He just nods, like it's a number he can work with. What if I could make that go away? He asks. My heart stops. What? What if I paid it off? All of it. Why would you do that? Because I can. That's not a reason. It's reason enough. I set my glass down because my hands are shaking too badly to hold it. I can't let you do that. Why not? Because I don't know you. Because it's too much. Because I don't know what you'd want in return. What if I don't want anything in return? Everyone wants something. He stands and crosses to my chair, crouching down so we're at eye level. This close, I can see the scar through his eyebrow more clearly, can count the silver threads in his dark hair. I want you to be able to sleep at night without worrying about money. I want you to stop working yourself to death for $350 a week. I want you to have choices. But why? Because I care about you. The words hang between us, heavy and true and terrifying. I've known this man for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of midnight conversations and whiskey and silence. 3 weeks of him seeing me when everyone else looks through me. And somehow, impossibly, I believe him. I can't. I whisper. You can. If you pay my debts, what does that make me? Free. Or owned? His jaw tightens. I would never own you, Marin. That's not what this is. Then what is it? He's quiet for a long moment, his dark eyes searching mine. I don't know. But I know I want you to be okay. And right now you're not. Tears prick at the corners of my eyes. Not the broken sobs from that first night in the saw elevator, but something softer, sadder. Why do you care so much? Because when I look at you, I see someone who deserves better than what she's been given, and I have the means to change that. That's not your responsibility. Maybe not, but I'm making it my choice. I don't know what to say. Part of me wants to accept, wants to let him erase all my debts and give me the clean slate I've been dreaming of. But another part, the part that's learned to be suspicious of kindness, wants to run, wants to protect myself from whatever comes next. I need to think about it, I say finally. He nods and stands, giving me space. Take all the time you need. But I don't take long, because the truth is, I'm drowning. And he's offering me a lifeline, and I'm not strong enough to refuse it, no matter how dangerous it might be. 2 days later, I tell him yes. He doesn't make a big deal of it, doesn't ask me to sign anything or make promises I can't keep. He just nods, pulls out his phone, and makes a series of calls. Within a week, my student loans are paid off. My back rent is cleared. The credit card debt that's been strangling me for 2 years vanishes. I cry when I get the confirmation emails. Not in front of him, not yet. But alone in Kira's bathroom at 3 in the morning, my phone in my hand, staring at balances that read zero. I cry until I can't breathe, until my chest aches, until I'm empty. And then I feel something I haven't felt in so long I almost don't recognize it. Relief. The next time I see Dante, I don't know how to thank him. Don't have words big enough to express what he's given me. So I just walk into his office and stand there, my hands shaking, my eyes already wet. Thank you, I whisper. He sets down the papers he was reading and looks at me. You're welcome. I don't know how to repay you. I don't want repayment. Then what do you want? He stands and crosses to me, stopping close enough that I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. I want you to stop cleaning offices. What? Quit. Tonight. I need the job. No, you don't. Not anymore. I need money to live, Dante. Paying off my debts doesn't change that. Then work for me. My breath catches. Doing what? I need an assistant. Someone intelligent, trustworthy, discreet. Someone I can rely on. I don't have any experience. You'll learn. Why me? Because I trust you. The weight of that statement nearly breaks me. He trusts me. This man who has everything, who could hire anyone, who moves through the world with the kind of power I'll never understand. He trusts me. What would I be doing? I ask carefully. Managing my schedule, handling correspondence, organizing files, whatever I need. He pauses. Nothing illegal. I almost laugh at that qualifier. Almost. How much would you pay me? He names a number that makes my head spin. It's more than I've ever made in a year, let alone in a month. It's enough to get my own apartment. Enough to start saving. Enough to build a life that doesn't involve sleeping on someone else's couch and crying in elevators. That's too much, I say. It's what the position is worth. To you, maybe. To anyone who does it well. And I think you will. I want to say yes. Every part of me wants to say yes. But there's something underneath this offer. Something unspoken that makes my skin prickle with awareness. What are you really asking me, Dante? I'm asking you to work for me. And? And to trust me the way I trust you. That's all? He's quiet for a long moment, his dark eyes holding mine. For now. For now. 2 words that promise everything and nothing. 2 words that tell me this is more than a job offer. More than a transaction. This is him asking me to step into his world, his life, with all the complications that come with it. I should say no. I should walk away. But I don't. Okay, I whisper. Something flickers across his face. Relief, maybe. Or satisfaction. I can't tell. He just nods and extends his hand. Monday, 8 a.m. Don't be late. I take his hand, and the moment our skin touches, I feel it. The shift, the change, the door closing on my old life and opening onto something new and terrifying and utterly unknown. I quit my cleaning job that night. Maria doesn't seem surprised, just marks me down as terminated and wishes me luck. I pack up my cart one last time and leave without looking back. When I tell Kira, she's ecstatic. Oh my God, Marin, this is amazing. Who's the guy? What's the company? Dante Voss. He owns the building I was cleaning. She pulls out her phone and starts typing. After a moment, her expression changes. Marin. What? Do you know who this guy is? He owns a lot of real estate. He owns half of Manhattan. And he's connected. Connected to what? She shows me her phone. Articles about Dante Voss. Most of them speculation and rumor. Ties to organized crime. Alleged money laundering. Investigations that never quite stick. Nothing proven, but enough smoke to suggest fire. My stomach drops. Oh, you can't work for him. I already said yes. Then unsay it. Marin, this guy is dangerous. He's been nothing but kind to me. That's how men like that operate. They're charming until they own you. He doesn't own me. Are you sure about that? I want to argue, but I can't. Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Dante wants from me, what working for him really means, what I've just agreed to. But I know I can't go back. Can't return to scrubbing floors and drowning in debt and feeling invisible. Whatever Dante is offering, it has to be better than what I had. It has to be. That weekend, I find my own apartment. Nothing fancy, just a studio in Astoria with decent light and no roaches. I sign the lease with money. Dante advanced me, and for the first time in months, I have a home. Kira helps me move in, though she's still suspicious. Just be careful, she says as we unpack boxes in my tiny kitchen. Men like him don't Do favors without expecting something in return. I know. Do you? I think about Dante, about the way he looked at me in that elevator, the way he asked questions and listened to answers, the way he paid off my debts without asking for anything except that I trust him. I think he's different. They all seem different at first. Maybe she's right. Maybe I'm being naive. But for the first time in years, I'm choosing something. Choosing to trust someone. Choosing to believe that kindness doesn't always come with strings attached. Even if I'm wrong, at least it's my choice. Monday morning comes too fast. I stand outside Dante's building in a dress I bought at a thrift store, my hair pulled back, my hands shaking. This is different from entering as a cleaner. This is entering as someone who belongs here, someone with a right to be in these spaces. It feels like wearing someone else's skin. Security waves me through when I give my name. The elevator ride to the 55th floor feels different in daylight, less intimate, more real. When the doors open, a woman is waiting for me. She's in her 50s, perfectly put together, with sharp eyes that take in everything about me in 2 seconds. Marin? She asks. Yes. I'm Vivian. I manage operations for Mr. Voss. He's in a meeting, but I'll get you settled. She leads me through a series of offices I didn't know existed, past assistants and accountants and lawyers, until we reach a small desk outside Dante's office. My desk, I realize. You'll handle his personal schedule, Vivian explains. Meetings, calls, travel arrangements. His business calendar is managed separately by the legal team. Your focus is keeping his life organized. Okay. She hands me a tablet. Everything you need is here. Contacts, calendar, protocols. Read through it. Ask questions. Mr. Voss doesn't tolerate incompetence, but he's patient with people who are learning. How long have you worked for him? I ask. 12 years. Do you like it? She studies me for a moment. Mr. Voss is demanding, but fair. Loyal to those who are loyal to him. If you do your job well and keep his confidence, he'll take care of you. She pauses. If you betray him, you'll regret it. The warning is clear. I nod, trying to project confidence I don't feel. Vivian leaves me alone at my desk, and I spend the next hour reading through protocols and trying to understand the scope of what I've just taken on. Dante's schedule is insane. Meetings from dawn until midnight, calls with people whose names I recognize from the news, travel to cities I've never been to. His life is a constant motion, and I'm supposed to be the one keeping it all organized. When his meeting ends, he comes out of his office with two men in expensive suits. He sees me at my desk and pauses, something shifting in his expression. Gentlemen, this is Marin, my new assistant. The men glance at me with polite disinterest, then leave. Dante waits until they're gone before approaching my desk. How's your first day? He asks. Overwhelming. That's normal. Vivian seems nice. Vivian is terrifying, but she's excellent at her job. She warned me not to betray you. He smiles slightly. Good advice. Should I be worried? Only if you're planning to betray me. I'm not. Then you have nothing to worry about. We stand there for a moment, the space between us charged with everything unspoken. In this office, surrounded by his world, he seems different. More powerful. More untouchable. But when he looks at me, I see the same man who crouched beside my chair and told me I deserved better. Thank you, I say quietly, for this. You'll earn it. I know. He nods and returns to his office, leaving me alone with my new life. The days blur together. I learn Dante's rhythms, his preferences, his moods. I learn which calls he takes immediately and which ones he ignores. I learn that he drinks his coffee black at 6 a.m. and switches to whiskey after 8 p.m. I learn that he's ruthless in business meetings but gentle with the people who work for him. I learn that he's respected and feared in equal measure, and I learn that working for him means entering a world I don't fully understand. There are phone calls in languages I don't speak. Meetings with men who carry themselves like violence is an option they're constantly considering. Envelopes that arrive by courier and disappear into Dante's safe. Money that moves in ways I'm not supposed to track. I don't ask questions. That's the unspoken rule. Do my job, keep his confidence, don't ask questions. But I'm not stupid. I know what kind of man Dante is. I know what Kira found on the internet is probably true. I know that the money paying my salary comes from sources that aren't entirely clean, and I tell myself it doesn't matter. Because when Dante looks at me, I don't feel invisible. When he asks me how I'm doing, he actually listens to the answer. When I make a mistake, he corrects me without cruelty. When I succeed, he notices. He sees me. And after so many years of being invisible, that's worth more than I want to admit. 2 months into the job, everything changes again. It's late, nearly midnight. I should have gone home hours ago, but Dante is preparing for a meeting in Tokyo, and I've been helping him organize his materials. We're in his office, the city dark beyond the windows, when his phone rings. He glances at the screen and his entire demeanor shifts. Everything about him goes cold and hard in an instant. I need to take this, he says, and there's something in his voice I've never heard before. Something dangerous. I stand to leave, but he holds up a hand, gesturing for me to stay. He answers the call, and I watch as he has a conversation in Italian, his tone clipped, angry. I don't understand the words, but I understand the emotion. Someone has done something they shouldn't have, and Dante is not pleased. When he hangs up, he's silent for a long moment, his jaw tight. Is everything okay? I ask carefully. No. Can I help? He looks at me, and for the first time since I've known him, I see something close to vulnerability in his eyes. Do you know what I do, Marin? You run businesses. That's part of it. What's the rest? He's quiet, considering how much to tell me. I move money. Lots of it. For people who can't move it themselves. I own properties that serve purposes beyond real estate. I make problems disappear for people who can pay the price. Are you in the Mafia? That's a simplistic term for a complicated situation. But yes, yes, I should be scared, should run, should quit, and never look back. But all I feel is a strange sense of relief, like a truth I've been dancing around has finally been said out loud. Okay, I say. Okay. I mean, I kind of figured. He almost laughs. Did you? You're not exactly subtle, Dante. This time he does laugh, and the tension breaks a little. Fair enough. So what was the phone call about? Someone stole from me. A significant amount. What are you going to do? Handle it. How? He studies me for a moment. Do you really want to know? I don't know. That's honest. We sit in silence, the weight of his revelation settling between us. I should feel different about him now. Should see him as dangerous, criminal, someone I can't trust. But I don't. I see the same man who saw me crying in an elevator and decided I mattered. Does this change things? He asks. Between us? What is there between us? I'm not sure, but it's something. He's right. It is something. It's been something since that first night. Since he offered me whiskey and asked me questions and looked at me like I was more than just a girl scrubbing floors. But I don't know what to call it. Don't know if it's friendship or something more complicated. Don't know if I'm an employee or a charity case or something else entirely. No, I say finally, it doesn't change things. Why not? Because you're the same person you were 5 minutes ago. I just know more about you now. And that doesn't scare you? Of course it scares me, but not as much as going back to who I was before you. Something shifts in his expression. He stands and crosses to where I'm sitting, then holds out his hand. Come with me. Where? I need to handle this situation, and I think you should see what that means. This is it. The moment where I decide if I'm really in his world or just visiting. The moment where I choose to step across a line I can't uncross. I take his hand. We drive through the city in the back of a black car, Dante silent beside me, his hand still holding mine. I don't ask where we're going. Don't break the silence. Just watch the streets pass by and try to steady my breathing. We end up at a warehouse in Brooklyn, the kind of place that looks abandoned during the day and probably is. Two men are waiting outside, both built like they hurt people for a living. They nod at Dante and step aside, letting us enter. Inside, the space is empty except for a single chair in the center, and a man tied to it. My stomach turns. Dante releases my hand and walks toward the bound man, his footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. I stay near the entrance, my heart pounding, unsure if I should watch or look away. Where's my money? Dante asks, his voice calm. The man in the chair spits blood onto the concrete. I don't have it. That's unfortunate. I'll get it. I just need more time. You had time. You chose to spend it poorly. I want to look away, but I can't. I watch as Dante circles the chair, his movements slow and deliberate. He's not yelling, not threatening. He doesn't need to. His presence alone is enough. How much did you take? Dante asks. 50,000. Try again. 75. Better. Where is it? I spent it. On? Debts. Dante stops circling and crouches in front of the man, forcing eye contact. You stole from me to pay debts to someone else? I didn't have a choice. Everyone has choices. You made yours. Now I'll make mine. The man starts to beg, his voice breaking, and I feel sick. I don't know what Dante is going to do, but I know it won't be good. I should leave. Should walk out and pretend this isn't happening. But I stay because Dante asked me to, because some part of me needs to see this, needs to understand what I've really gotten myself into. Dante stands and pulls out his phone, making a call. It's done, he says. Send someone to collect him. Then he turns and walks back to me, his expression unreadable. That's it? I ask. That's it. What happens to him? He'll work off what he owes. It'll take him years, but he'll survive. And if he doesn't work it off, then he won't survive. The bluntness of it should horrify me, but I understand the logic. Dante is many things, but he's not cruel for the sake of cruelty. He operates by rules, and when those rules are broken, there are consequences. We drive back to Manhattan in silence. I'm processing what I saw, trying to reconcile the man who pays off my debts with the man who just sentenced someone to years of indentured servitude. They're the same person. Both versions are true. When we reach his building, he walks me to my desk, even though it's nearly 2 in the morning. Are you okay? He asks. I don't know. That's fair. Do you do that often? The warehouse thing? Often enough. Does it bother you? It used to. Now it's just part of the job. I look at him, really look at him, and see the weight he carries, the decisions he makes, the consequences he lives with. How do you sleep at night? Poorly. The honesty of that answer breaks something open in me. I step closer, close enough to feel his warmth, and reach up to touch his face. He goes very still, his dark eyes searching mine. Marin, he says quietly, I'm not afraid of you. You should be, but I'm not. He catches my wrist, his grip gentle but firm, and lowers my hand. If you stay in my world, there will be more nights like tonight. More things you'll see that you can't unsee. More choices you'll have to make about what you're willing to accept. I know. And you're still here. I'm still here. He releases my wrist and steps back, creating distance between us. Go home, Marin. Get some sleep. We'll talk tomorrow. I want to stay. Want to close the distance he just created and make him tell me what this is between us. But I can see he needs space, needs time to figure out what my presence in that warehouse meant. So I nod and leave, taking the elevator down alone. In my apartment, I lie awake until dawn, replaying everything: the warehouse, the bound man, Dante's calm voice asking questions, the phone call that sealed the man's fate. And underneath it all, the question I can't stop asking myself: if I stay in Dante's world, what does that make me? The next day, we don't talk about the warehouse. We just work. Dante has back to back meetings, and I manage his schedule with the efficiency I've developed over the past 2 months. Everything is normal on the surface, but there's a tension underneath that wasn't there before. He knows I saw what he's capable of, and I know I didn't run. That evening, after everyone else has left, he calls me into his office. Close the door, he says. I do. He's standing by the windows, his back to me, looking out at the city. I need to know if you're committed to this. To what? To me. To this world. To everything that comes with it. I'm here, aren't I? He turns to face me. That's not an answer. What do you want me to say, Dante? I want you to tell me the truth. Can you handle this? Can you be part of my life knowing what you know? I take a breath, trying to find the right words. I've spent my entire life being invisible, being told I'm not good enough, smart enough, strong enough. And then you saw me, really saw me, and you gave me a chance to be more than I was. So yes, I can handle this. Because walking away from you means going back to being invisible, and I can't do that anymore. Even if it means compromising your morals? My morals didn't pay my rent. My morals didn't stop Marcus from hitting me. My morals didn't matter when I was scrubbing toilets at 3 in the morning. You did. You mattered. He crosses the space between us, stopping close enough that I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. You're binding yourself to me, Marin. Do you understand that? I understand. If you stay, you're mine to protect, mine to provide for, mine to keep safe. And what are you to me? Whatever you need me to be. I reach up and touch his face again, and this time he doesn't stop me. What if I need you to be more than my boss? Then I'll be more. What if I need you to be something we haven't named yet? Then we'll figure it out together. His hand comes up to cover mine, pressing my palm against his cheek. We stand like that for a long moment, the city glittering behind us, and I feel something shift. Something that's been building since that first night in the elevator, since he looked at me and decided I was worth paying attention to. I'm terrified, I whisper. Of me? Of this? Of caring about you? Of what happens if this doesn't work? What happens if it does? I don't have an answer for that. Can't imagine a future where someone like me ends up with someone like him. But I want to try. God help me. I want to try. He leans down, his forehead resting against mine, and we breathe together in the silence. It's not a kiss. Not yet. But it's a promise of one. A promise that this thing between us, whatever it is real enough to explore. Stay with me tonight, he says quietly. Where? Here, in my apartment upstairs. My heart pounds. Dante? Not like that. I just don't want to be alone. And I don't think you do either. He's right. I don't. I'm tired of sleeping in my empty studio. Tired of pretending I don't want more than what I have. So I nod, and he takes my hand, and we ride the elevator to the penthouse floor. His apartment is exactly what I expected. Sleek, expensive, impersonal. But there are small things that make it his. Books on the shelves, a photograph of people I assume are his family, a record player with a collection of vinyl that surprises me. Make yourself comfortable, he says. I'll get you something to sleep in. While he's gone, I wander the space, touching things carefully, like I'm afraid to leave evidence that I was here. He returns with a t-shirt and sweatpants, both too big for me, and points to the guest bathroom. When I emerge, he's changed too, dressed down in a way I've never seen him. Just dark pants and a black t-shirt, his feet bare. He looks younger like this, less dangerous, almost normal. Are you hungry? He asks. A little. He leads me to the kitchen and makes us sandwiches. The domesticity of it so at odds with everything I know about him that I almost laugh. We eat at the island, our knees touching, and talk about nothing important. Music, books, the city. Small things that feel enormous because we're sharing them. When we finish, he takes me to the guest room. Get some sleep, he says. Where will you be? Down the hall. What if I don't want you down the hall? He goes very still. Marin, I'm not asking for anything you're not willing to give. I just don't want to be alone. He's quiet for a long moment, warring with himself. Finally, he nods. Okay. We go to his room instead. The bed is huge, the kind where two people could sleep without ever touching. He gets in on one side, and I get in on the other, and we lie there in the dark, the space between us feeling like a canyon. Dante? I whisper. Yes? Thank you. For everything. You don't need to thank me. I do. He shifts closer, closing some of the distance. Go to sleep, Marin. I'm trying. His hand finds mine under the covers, our fingers lacing together. I've got you. And for the first time in longer than I can remember, I believe someone when they say that. I close my eyes and let myself drift, safe in the knowledge that Dante is here, that I'm not alone, that maybe, possibly, I've found something worth holding on to. I wake up wrapped around him. Sometime during the night, we gravitated toward each other. Now my head is on his chest, his arm around my waist, our legs tangled together. I can hear his heartbeat, steady and strong, and feel the rise and fall of his breathing. I should move, should put distance between us before this becomes something we can't take back. But I don't want to. I want to stay here, in this moment, before the world intrudes again. He stirs, his hand tightening slightly on my waist. Morning, he murmurs, his voice rough with sleep. Morning. How'd you sleep? Better than I have in months. Good. We don't move. Just lie there, holding each other, and I realize this is what I've been missing. Not just someone to sleep next to, but someone who makes me feel safe enough to actually rest. Marin, he says quietly. Yes? We need to talk about this. I know. What do you want it to be? I shift so I can look at his face. This close, I can see the lines around his eyes, the silver in his stubble, the scar that cuts through his eyebrow. He's beautiful in a way that has nothing to do with conventional attractiveness and everything to do with who he is. I want it to be real, I say. It is real. Then I want it to be ours. Even knowing what I am, what I do, especially knowing that. He reaches up and brushes my hair back from my face, his touch gentle. I can't promise you normal. I can't promise you safe. But I can promise you that if you're mine, I'll protect you with everything I have. And if I'm yours, what are you? Yours. The simplicity of that answer breaks me. I lean down and kiss him, and it's nothing like I expected. It's slow and careful and tender, like we have all the time in the world, even though we both know we don't. His hand cups the back of my head, holding me close, and I feel like I'm falling, even though I'm already lying down. When we pull apart, we're both breathing hard. We should take this slow, he says. Okay. I don't want to rush you. You're not. Marin. I press my finger to his lips. I know what I want, Dante, and I know the risks, but I'm choosing this anyway. He kisses my finger, then my palm, then pulls me back down into another kiss that makes my toes curl. We stay in bed for hours, just kissing and holding each other, learning the shape of this new thing between us. Eventually, we have to get up, have to face the world, have to return to our roles as boss and assistant. But something has changed, something fundamental that makes everything else different. Over the next few weeks, we navigate what it means to be together. Publicly, nothing changes. I'm still his assistant, still managing his schedule, still keeping his life organized. But privately, we're building something. He takes me to dinner at restaurants I've only read about. We spend nights in his apartment talking until dawn. He tells me about his past, about growing up in Chicago, about the family he lost, about the choices that led him here. I tell him about my mother, about Marcus, about the years of struggling to survive. We learn each other, and slowly, carefully, we fall. It's not always easy. There are nights when he comes home covered in blood that isn't his, and I have to decide if I can handle that. There are moments when I see him make decisions that scare me, that remind me of the darkness in his world. There are times when I wonder if I'm strong enough for this. But then he looks at me like I'm the only thing that matters, and I remember why I'm here. 3 months into our relationship, he asks me to move into the penthouse. I want you here, he says. I want to wake up with you every morning and come home to you every night. What about my apartment? Keep it if you want, but stay here with me. I don't hesitate. Okay. Moving in is easier than I expected. I don't have much, and what I do have fits easily into his space. But more than that, it feels right. Like I've finally found where I belong. Kira is less enthusiastic. You're making a mistake, she says when I tell her. Maybe. Marin, this guy is dangerous. I know. And you're okay with that? I love him. The words surprise us both. I haven't said them to Dante yet, haven't even admitted them to myself. But they're true. I love him. Love the way he sees me. Love the way he protects me. Love the way he makes me feel like I matter. Jesus, Marin, Kira whispers. I know it's crazy. I know it's fast. But it's real, Kira. He's real. What happens when his world crashes down on you? Then he'll protect me. You really believe that? I do. She doesn't understand, but I don't expect her to. How can I explain that Dante gave me back my life when I was drowning? How can I make her see that his darkness doesn't scare me because I've lived in darkness too, just a different kind? That night, I tell Dante I love him. We're on his balcony, the city spread out below us, and the words just come out. I love you. He goes very still, his glass of whiskey halfway to his lips. Say that again. I love you, Dante. He sets his glass down and turns to face me, his dark eyes intense. Do you mean that? Yes. You love me, knowing everything you know. Yes. He pulls me into his arms, holding me so tightly I can barely breathe. I love you too, Marin. God help me. I love you too. We stand there on the balcony, holding each other, and I feel complete in a way I never have before. This is it. This is what I've been searching for without knowing it. Not safety, not security, but someone who sees all of me and loves me anyway. The months that follow are the happiest of my life. We build a rhythm together. I work during the day, managing Dante's life with an efficiency that surprises even me. At night, we're just us. Two people learning how to love each other despite everything that says we shouldn't. There are complications. There always are. Dante's world is dangerous, and being with him means accepting that danger. There are nights when he doesn't come home, when I pace the penthouse wondering if he's hurt or dead. There are mornings when I wake up, and he's already gone, dealing with problems I'm better off not knowing about. But there are also moments of perfect peace. Lazy Sunday mornings in bed. Quiet dinners where we talk about books and music and nothing important. Nights when he holds me and tells me I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him. I believe him. 6 months after I move in, everything changes again. Dante comes home late, his jaw tight, his movements tense. I know something is wrong immediately. What happened? I ask. There's a problem. What kind of problem? He pours himself a drink and downs it in one swallow. The kind that might get you hurt. My stomach drops. Explain. Someone knows about you, about us, and they're threatening to use that against me. Who? An old enemy. Someone I thought I'd dealt with years ago. What do they want? Money? Territory? Blood? Take your pick. I stand and cross to him, taking his face in my hands. What do we do? We? He almost laughs. Marin, you need to leave. Go stay with your friend. Get out of the city if you can. Just get away from me until this is over. No, this isn't a discussion. You're right. It's not. Because I'm not leaving you. Marin. No, Dante. You don't get to protect me by pushing me away. If there's danger, we face it together. You could die. Then I'll die with you. But I'm not running. He looks at me with something close to anguish. I can't lose you. Then don't. Keep me close. Protect me. But don't send me away. He pulls me into his arms, his face buried in my hair. You're impossible. I learned from the best. That night, he increases security. Guards are posted outside the penthouse. My movements are monitored. I'm not allowed to go anywhere alone. It's suffocating and necessary, and I hate it. But I stay. Because leaving Dante isn't an option anymore. The threat comes to a head 2 weeks later. Dante is meeting with the man who's been causing problems, trying to negotiate a settlement. He doesn't want me there, but I insist. If this affects us both, I deserve to be part of it. We meet at a neutral location, a restaurant that Dante owns. The man across from us is older, gray-haired, with cold eyes that remind me of winter. His name is Vincent, and he's everything dangerous about Dante's world without any of the restraint. So this is her, Vincent says, looking at me like I'm a bug under glass. The girl who's made you soft. Watch yourself, Dante says quietly. Or what? You'll kill me? We both know you won't. Not here. Not now. I wouldn't be so sure. Vincent laughs. You've changed, Voss. The old you would have ended me the moment I became a problem. But now you have something to lose. He gestures to me. Someone to lose. What do you want? Dante asks. I want you to remember what it feels like to have nothing. The way you left me with nothing when you took my operation apart. You were trafficking children, Vincent. You deserved worse than what you got. That's a matter of perspective. I watch this exchange, my heart pounding, and realize what Vincent wants. He doesn't want money or territory. He wants revenge. He wants to hurt Dante the way Dante hurt him, and I'm the way to do that. Take me, I say suddenly. Both men look at me. What? Dante's voice is sharp. He wants to hurt you through me, so let him take me. Let him think he's won, and then you end this. Absolutely not. Dante. No, Marin, no. Vincent is watching us with interest. She's smarter than she looks. She's also not part of this negotiation, Dante says. Isn't she? She's the whole point. Dante's hand finds mine under the table, gripping it tightly. You're not touching her. Then what are you offering? Name your price. Vincent leans back, considering. I want my territory back. The docks, the warehouses, the whole operation. No. Then I take her. Over my dead body. That can be arranged. The air in the restaurant goes cold. I see Dante's guards shift position, see Vincent's men do the same. We're seconds away from violence, and I'm the cause. Stop, I say loudly. Both of you, stop. They look at me. I turn to Vincent. What if there's another option? I'm listening. Dante gives you back part of your operation. Not all of it, but enough to rebuild. In exchange, you leave us alone. Forever. Why would I accept that? Because if you don't, Dante will kill you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, and you know it. Vincent studies me for a long moment. You're wasted on him. You know that? That's not your concern. He laughs, then looks at Dante. Fine. Half my old territory. And you stay out of my business. And you stay out of mine, Dante counters. Deal. They shake hands. And just like that, it's over. We leave the restaurant in silence, Dante's hand never leaving mine. In the car, he finally explodes. What the hell were you thinking? I was thinking I could help. You could have gotten yourself killed. But I didn't. I negotiated a settlement. You're not a negotiator, Marin. You're. What? Just your assistant? Just your girlfriend? Just some girl you saved? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? He's quiet for a long moment. You're the person I love most in this world. And you just offered yourself up to a man who would have hurt you to get to me. But he didn't, because I gave him another option. You shouldn't have had to. But I did. Because this is our life, Dante. This is what being with you means. And I'm not going to hide behind you. When I can stand beside you. He pulls me into his arms, his voice rough. You're going to give me a heart attack. Better me than Vincent. He laughs despite himself, and the tension breaks. We go home, and that night, he holds me tighter than ever before. I'm proud of you, he says in the dark. Even though you scared the hell out of me. I scared myself. Good. Fear keeps you alive. I snuggle closer, feeling safe despite everything. I love you. I love you too. The next morning, Dante makes a decision. I'm getting out, he says over breakfast. I almost dropped my coffee. What? I'm selling off my operations, keeping the legitimate businesses, getting rid of everything else. Why? Because I almost lost you yesterday, and I realized that no amount of money or power is worth that risk. Dante, you can't just walk away from your life. Watch me. What about the people who work for you? What about Vincent's deal? I'll honor the deal, and I'll make sure everyone who's been loyal to me is taken care of. But I'm done, Marin. I'm done living like this. I don't know what to say. This is everything I never dared hope for. But it feels too easy. Too good to be true. What will you do? I ask. Focus on real estate, legitimate investments. Maybe start a foundation or something. He takes my hand. Build a life with you that doesn't involve looking over my shoulder constantly. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. The next few months are chaos. Dante dismantles his empire piece by piece, selling off operations, settling debts, making sure everyone gets what they're owed. It's dangerous work, and there are people who aren't happy about it. But Dante is methodical, and he has enough leverage to make it stick. I watch him transform from a crime boss into a businessman, and it's fascinating. He's still commanding, still powerful, but there's less weight on his shoulders, less darkness in his eyes. We're at the penthouse one night, months into the transition, when he asks me to marry him. Marry me, he says. No preamble, no ring, just the question. I'm so surprised I almost don't answer. What? Marry me, Marin. Be my wife. Build this life with me. We barely know each other. We've known each other for a year, and I've never been more certain of anything. Dante, I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. But I love you, and I want you to be mine in every way that matters. I look at this man, This complicated, dangerous, gentle man who saw me at my lowest and decided I was worth saving. And I realize I want this too. Want him. Want the life we're building together. Yes, I say. He smiles, really smiles, and pulls a ring from his pocket. It's simple, elegant, perfect. He slides it onto my finger, and I cry because I never thought I'd have this. Never thought I'd be someone's priority, someone's choice, someone's future. We get married 3 months later. Small ceremony, just Vivian and Kira and a few of Dante's remaining associates. It's perfect in its simplicity, and when I say my vows, I mean every word, for better or worse, in sickness and health, for richer or poorer, till death do us part. Dante's eyes never leave mine as he repeats the words back to me, and I know he means them too. We've both seen death, both known worse, both survived poverty. This is us choosing each other despite it all. After the wedding, we take a week off and go to a cabin upstate. No phones, no security, no world beyond us. We spend our days hiking and talking, our nights making love and dreaming about the future. What do you want? He asks me one night, the fire crackling in the hearth. What do you mean? Long term. What kind of life do you want to build? I think about it. I want to finish my degree, maybe teach literature like I planned. I want a home that's ours, not just a penthouse. I want to travel. I want to laugh more than I cry. What about kids? The question catches me off guard. I don't know. Do you want them? With you? Yes. I curl into his side, imagining a future I never let myself dream about before. Then yes. Someday. When we're ready. Someday. He agrees. We return to the city ready to start our new life. Dante is out of the criminal world completely now, focusing on his real estate empire and philanthropy. I enroll in online classes to finish my degree. We buy a brownstone in Brooklyn, something with history and character and room to grow. It's not perfect. There are still nights when Dante wakes up from nightmares about his past. There are moments when I panic about money, even though I don't need to anymore. We fight sometimes about stupid things, about important things, about nothing at all. But we're happy. Really, truly happy. One night, almost 2 years after we met, we're lying in bed in our brownstone. The windows are open, letting in the sounds of the city, and Dante is tracing patterns on my skin. Do you ever regret it? He asks quietly. Regret what? Staying with me, choosing this life. I turn to look at him. Never. Even with everything you've seen, everything you know, especially because of that. You showed me who you really are, all the dark parts, and trusted me not to run. How could I regret that? You could have had a simpler life. Simple isn't the same as good. He kisses me, slow and deep. I love you, Marin Voss. I love you too. We fall asleep tangled together, and I think about the girl I was 2 years ago, crying in an elevator, broken and desperate, invisible to the world. She seems like someone else now, someone I used to be before Dante saw me, before I learned to see myself. The next morning, I wake up before him and watch the sun rise through our bedroom window. I think about everything that brought me here, the pain, the struggle, the moments when I almost gave up. And I realize that I needed all of it to become the person I am now. Strong enough to stand beside a powerful man without being diminished. Brave enough to love someone despite the risks. Whole enough to build a life I actually want to live. Dante stirs beside me, his arm pulling me closer. Morning, he murmurs. Morning. What are you thinking about? I smile. How lucky I am. I'm the lucky one. We both are. He kisses my shoulder and I feel that familiar warmth spread through my chest. The warmth of being loved, being chosen, being enough exactly as I am. Later, over coffee in our kitchen, Dante tells me about a call he got from the university where I'm finishing my degree. They want to interview me for a teaching position starting next fall. You should do it, he says. It's not much money. We don't need money. I'd be working a lot. I'll survive. I look at him. This man who once controlled half of Manhattan's underworld and now just wants me to be happy. Are you sure? Marin, I didn't fall in love with you so you could spend your life managing my schedule. I fell in love with you because you're brilliant and passionate and deserve to do something that matters to you. If teaching matters, then teach. What about kids? We have time. I take the interview and the job when they offer it to me. The following fall, I start teaching literature at a small college in Queens. It's everything I dreamed about and more. My students are engaged, curious, hungry for knowledge. I get to talk about books all day and call it work. Dante shows up to my first lecture, sitting in the back row like a student, and I almost lose my composure when I see him there. After class, he waits for me, and we walk across campus hand in hand. Professor Voss? He says, teasing. That's going to take some getting used to. You were amazing. You're biased. Completely, but also correct. We grab dinner at a little Italian place near campus, and I tell him about my students, about the syllabus I designed, about the research I want to pursue. He listens like he always does, like every word matters, and I fall in love with him all over again. This is what I fought for. This life, this partnership, this choice. 3 years after the night in the elevator, I find out I'm pregnant. I take the test alone in our bathroom, my hands shaking, and when I see the positive result, I cry. Happy tears this time. Hopeful tears. I tell Dante that night over dinner. I just hand him the test, too overwhelmed to speak. He stares at it for a long moment, then looks at me with wonder in his eyes. Really? I nod. He crosses the table and pulls me into his arms, holding me like I'm something precious. We're having a baby. We're having a baby? Are you happy? I'm terrified. Me too. We laugh through our tears, and I know this is exactly how it should be. Both of us scared and happy and ready to figure it out together. The pregnancy is harder than I expected. Morning sickness, exhaustion, anxiety about bringing a child into a world that can be cruel. But Dante is there through all of it, patient and supportive, making sure I rest, making sure I eat, making sure I know I'm not alone. When our daughter is born, I understand what people mean about love changing you. The moment I hold her, something fundamental shifts. I'm not just Marin anymore. I'm someone's mother. And Dante isn't just the man I love. He's someone's father. We name her Elena, after my mother. Watching Dante hold our daughter for the first time breaks me in the best way. This man, who was once feared throughout the city, who made people disappear, who controlled an empire built on violence. He holds our tiny daughter like she's made of glass, tears streaming down his face. Hi, Elena, he whispers. I'm your dad. And I know, without question, that this is what we were always meant to build. Not an empire, not a fortune, but a family, a life, a love strong enough to survive anything. The years that follow are full. Teaching, raising Elena, building our life together. Dante continues to run his legitimate businesses, and I continue to teach. We travel when we can, showing Elena the world. We fight sometimes, make up, fight again. We grow together, change together, learn together. And every night before we fall asleep, we find each other in the dark. 5 years after that night in the elevator, I'm giving a lecture on contemporary literature when I see Dante slip into the back row. It's not unusual. He still shows up to my classes sometimes, especially when he knows I'm nervous about a particular topic. But when I finish and the students file out, he stays, waits for me to pack up my things. And when we're alone, he says something that makes me pause. Do you remember that night in the elevator? Of course. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't been there? I think about it, about the girl I was, broken and desperate, crying in an empty elevator, about how close I was to giving up entirely. Sometimes. I think about it too, about how easily I could have missed you, could have stayed in my office one more minute, could have taken a different elevator, could have looked away instead of looking closer. But you didn't. No, I didn't. He takes my hand. And you stayed. Even when I showed you who I really was. Even when it would have been easier to run, you stayed. Where else would I go? He smiles, and it's the same smile that made me fall in love with him all those years ago. Nowhere, because you're exactly where you belong. We walk out of the building hand in hand, and I think about the journey that brought us here. From that elevator to this moment. From strangers to lovers to partners to parents. From broken to whole. It wasn't easy. It wasn't simple. But it was ours. And that's all that matters. That night, after Elena is asleep, Dante and I sit on the balcony of our brownstone, drinking wine and watching the city lights. His arm is around my shoulders, and my head rests on his chest, and I can hear his heartbeat, steady and strong. Marin? He says quietly. Yes? Thank you. For what? For crying in that elevator. For staying when I asked you to. For trusting me when you had no reason to. For loving me despite everything. For giving me this life. I tilt my head up to look at him. You gave me this life. We gave it to each other. He's right. We did. We built this together piece by piece, choice by choice, day by day. And I wouldn't change a single moment of it. I love you, I whisper. I love you too. We sit in the dark, holding each other, and I know that this is what I was searching for without knowing it. Not safety, not security, but partnership, belonging, home. I found it in the last place I expected. In an elevator at 3 in the morning, with a man who saw me when I was invisible and decided I was worth everything. And I